This conference will now be recorded.
We're good to start, Christine.
I also keep getting a message, poor internet, just so if I cut out, I apologize now. Is there any conflict of interest that needs to be declared before we get started? Okay, none have been identified. And do we have approval of the first agenda? Do we have a vote or a second? I always get the language wrong, Mark, I'm very sorry.
Yeah, I'd just ask for a mover and a seconder.
A mover, that's it, a mover of the approval of the agenda.
I'll move Christine.
Thank you, John. Thank you. And a second?
I second it.
Thank you.
Then
And call a vote?
Christine. All in favor?
All in favor. Nobody disagreeing? Okay. And do we have a move for the approval of the previous minutes that were July 20th, 2022? Everyone's reviewed them? Okay, thank you. Second?
I'll second.
Thank you. Okay, so where do we want to start? I guess we won't, well, I mean, I know John's not here.
Sorry, Christine, just to get you.
Oh, all in favor, a vote, please, all in favor. Okay. All approved?
Yep.
Sorry, Mark.
It's okay. Everybody does it, right, John?
Oh, absolutely.
And I've been on many boards before. It just completely.
You should see what a pickle I get myself into at council meetings sometimes.
Should we not do the flag raising? I didn't see anybody that had any concerns with what was posted, what was sent out to the committee.
I've circulated it around to my staff. So we have comments in addition to what John's done.
Okay.
I can certainly go through it if you'd like, just to hear some of our comments. They're more additions than they are criticisms. So,
right.
So our thoughts. Well, there's John there, so maybe I'll just hold off until he gets ready. So.
Hi, John.
Sorry for the delay. I was having trouble getting it on my computer.
Oh, that's no problem. We're just about to review the flag raising policy. Actually, just started. Hey, and Mark, he sent it around some of his team members, and he has some additions that he'd like to review with the committee. Okay, Mark.
So John, some of the comments that we had in addition to what's in your document. So organizations should only be able to request one flag raising per calendar year.
Right.
Requests would be confirmed on a first come, first served basis in case we are short on flagpoles. I was trying to get some timing from Matt today on when our third poll is going in, but I didn't touch base with them. So,
Until why only one, Mark? Why do they feel they can only have one request a year?
Well, because the one request a year is just to kind of keep opportunities open, I guess, for others.
For other people, right? Okay, fair enough.
Yeah. And the other one request at a time, is really just, we've only got the one flagpole. We don't want to have multiples on it until we get that second pole up.
Right.
That the flags will only be raised and lowered on business days. So we're not bringing staff in to do it. Requests should be in writing. One of the questions was who should approve, council or staff? I think once we get a decent policy, it's probably going to be something council will want to delegate to staff. I don't think you're going to be wanting to deal with these all the time, Your Worship, but that's up to you. If it is a request, if requests are going to be approved by council, we get timing issues too. So you're probably going to want to see requests come in at least a month to 6 weeks ahead of time so that they can go to council. If approved by staff, we can probably do it a lot quicker in a 2 to 3 week period. And that is suitable flags and we can specify size and grommets should be provided by the requesting organization and be in our hands about a week before. And how are invites for council or committees that are affected going to be dealt with? So if I'm trying to think of a good example, if the Indigenous flag was going up, how would we be notifying the committee and council, this committee and council? And what is the maximum time a flag should be flown? A day, a week, a month? So those are the comments that we've generated at a staff level. So I think really some of them are pretty standard that can go into the policy as is. I think the questions that need to be answered is who's approving the requests, and what's the maximum time a flag should be allowed to be flown. So any thoughts on that would be great.
For me personally, I think the staff should be able to approve. I don't think that we should have to wait as long as the criteria is very clear. I do agree that adding it onto the councillors is just one more thing that on top of their busy schedules already, that we'd have to wait probably longer to get approved. And I think for the maximum time, I would say a month, and that's mostly for things like the Pride Flag Month. But I think there should be criteria around if we're only celebrating one day, then the maximum would be 1 week. But something that is historically celebrated for an entire month may have the right to stay up for the entire month. What does everybody else think?
Madam Chair, if I can, I think the wording now is a good one in as much as it's sort of a co-responsibility between the mayor and the CAO. And I think that's how it should remain. If it becomes an issue for council, we sometimes have the luxury of a 2-week hiatus between meetings, but often it may be 3 weeks. So we might not be able to get around to it fast enough. So I like the idea of the mayor and the CAO making a joint decision on it. The one question I was going to raise, and I think it was quite properly flagged by John, was the question of no religious flags, but then it begs the question about the Sikh flag, whether that is indicative of a religion or of a nationality. And we have traditionally flown the Sikh flag at request. So I think that's something we need to address.
That's interesting, because when I Googled Sikhism, it comes up as a religion. That was the first thing that came up as a religion.
Yeah, that's the same thing, Christine. So that's asking the question then.
I think it's interesting. I haven't Googled it, but my instinctive response was it's both a religion and a nationality in a sense, and maybe more than a sense. I don't know how others feel about that.
Do we fly flags from other nationalities right now?
Well, we have, with the Ukrainian flag as an example.
Right.
But I don't think that would be a religion, though, would it?
No, I was just saying if we've never flown a nationality before, you could probably put nationality and religion into the same category and not fly either. But I mean, even for me, that flag represents turmoil in that region, the Ukrainian flag.
But it's a country flag.
But it's a country flag, yeah.
And nationality.
Right.
So I think the dilemma we have is that we have flown the Sikh flag. Mark, correct me if I'm wrong, 2 or 3 times.
Yes, probably. Well, 3 times in one. It didn't get flown because of the
COVID.
It was right in the middle of the pandemic. Yeah.
Yeah.
Can I ask what's the reason they want it flown for? Is it a specific month of celebration, or what's the reason that they wanted it flown?
I would say just as you've said, it's their month of celebration. I believe.
Or like Diwali? So okay.
And I'm not certain we've flown it for an entire month, but I think we have acknowledged I would say the Sikh nationality, but I may be completely wrong in this, so I shouldn't say anything more than that. About 2 weeks, Mark, maybe?
Yeah, I'm trying to remember, Your Worship. I thought it flew for the month, but I'm trying to verify that now. So.
And the other issue that the committee should be aware of is that when we do that flag raising, in my experience, it's extraordinarily well attended by members of the community. It's not something where we go out and put up the flag and there's no one there to see it being raised.
Right. So it will cause tension if we say we won't raise it anymore.
Yes, I would say that's a good bet. Yeah.
But it does beg the question about other religions having flags or banners. And I'm not aware of any others where we might be asked to raise a flag.
Well, do we have a disclaimer at the bottom that says all requests are at the discretion of council and the mayor? Or so if you have a controversial one, it gives you an opportunity to say no?
Yeah, and I was going to suggest before John had suggested the CAO and the mayor deal with that. I would have said that if it was left to staff and we had a questionable one, we would be taking it to council. We wouldn't just do it ourselves.
Right.
So
It's fair.
From what I understand with Sikh, yes, I do agree that it is a religion and it's defined as such, but like people who practice Sikh, their nationality would be Punjabi, I believe, not Sikh, as recognized as a nationality.
right, they're from the Punjab area of India for sure.
Like my recent coworker, she's Punjabi, but she is Sikh, but like she recognizes herself as her nationality as being Punjabi, and her religion is Sikh. And then if other religions come to request to have their flags raised, then that's where conflicts will start to arise.
Is there such a thing as a Punjabi flag?
I believe so.
Oh, there's lots.
I can hear everybody Googling here.
Yeah.
Reading
The flag of Punjab is the flag of the province of Punjab. It's a Pakistani flag.
But the Punjab is a
Punjab.
disputed piece of geography between India and Pakistan. And not to start a war, and there have actually been, I think, 2 or 3 wars over the Punjab.
Mhm.
That's I think in an issue, if it's left to the mayor and the CAO, and if we can't agree, I think it gets kicked to council. That's my view.
That's fair.
Fair enough. Right.
Yep.
I mean, Sikhism is a religion, but when you certainly read it, like Sikhs are a people and Sikhs are a racial group as opposed to a religion. So,
Yeah.
I I mean, I guess you could identify as a Sikh and not follow Sikhism. I don't know. That's beyond my knowledge. I need to be educated on that.
Would that be like, what would be the case for Muslims? I mean, that is a religion, but people identify themselves as Muslim as well. This is where it gets really goes down a slippery slope.
I don't. I'm thinking our policy could say that we're not, we're not going to raise flags of any religion, and I think that'll be up to John and I then to determine, whether we're going to interpret, I guess, the Sikh flag as being for, the people who identify as Sikhs, as a racial group, as opposed to the flag is strictly, Sikhism. So buy us time to research it more.
So Mark, will you update it with the comments made by your staff and send it out for one more review, or is this just final once you've added those comments?
No, I can, if council, if you're all good with the comments that I've raised, I can certainly take this and put it into a further draft and send it around. And if it's decent, we can approve it next meeting.
Yep, sounds
Fair
good.
enough.
Yep.
Thank you for your work on this, John. The community survey, where are we on that? Has that been finalized and will go out in, was it September? This month, I guess?
Sorry, now I got too many things open. I know there was an email went to Ralph, so I was hoping he was going to be here tonight, regarding the dates to put it in the newspaper. I think we're all good. It's in the flyer. It's ready to go, and it was really just a matter of what dates it was going to go into the newspapers.
Do we know what type of feedback we received on the fireworks one? Was it a good turnout? Wasn't there a fireworks survey?
Yes.
Did we get a good turnout for that?
Yes, I believe there was, better than most of the surveys we've done. So
Oh, that's great.
people were very strong. Like if when they were commenting, they're very strong one way or the other. There was no one kind of in the middle. It was, don't touch my fireworks or get rid of them, right? So,
Lots of fireworks.
yeah, lots of fireworks. Ba-doom-ching.
Well, hopefully that means we'll get a good turnout for the feedback for this one as well.
So yeah, I think
The
that's
DEI,
it's all on track.
sorry, Mark. The DEI content, I think that was Ralph, wasn't it? That he was going to,
On the website, yes.
on the website, provide us an update with, so we'll have to move that to the next agenda.
Yeah.
Well, and that's probably a work in progress as well. He'll be collaborating with our website organizer, Andrew.
On that note, I mean, it's not about the website per se, but I think 2 requests were sent out around Orange Shirt Day. One was for the Shelburne event, which is on Friday, September 30th at Jack Downing Park. And then the other one is October 1st. That's the residential school walk. Has anybody from this committee signed up for either? I'm actually supposed to be away that weekend, but if we don't have representation at either of those, I will change my plans and attend the Friday night ceremony, I guess. I'm not sure what they're calling it.
That's the one in Shelburne.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can do that. October 1st, I can't. I will have to leave early in the morning on the 1st instead, but I can stay back on the 30th and go to that one. I don't have to RSVP. I haven't done that yet.
Unfortunately, I
I'm
am
happy to
not
commit to
available
the-
that weekend. I will be in Halliburton that weekend.
Sorry, what time is gonna be?
The Shelburne one is Friday night on September 30th at 7 p.m.
Okay. And the
And then-
Saturday one?
Sorry, say it again.
And the Saturday one, which one? What time?
Saturday one is starts at 275 Alder Street, and that's October 1st from 1 until 3 p.m. I mean, I'll be at the Friday night one, so at least Mono will be represented at one of them.
Yeah, I might do the Saturday one, but I cannot confirm right now for sure. So
Okay.
Christine, I'll commit to doing one or both.
Okay, great, John.
Has there been any request or consideration for raising a flag, the orange shirt, like every Child Matters flag, or?
We received a request? No, not as yet.
Do we need to have a request, or should the town simply raise it?
Yeah, that as the question was asked, I was thinking that that's something we should look into very shortly.
Yeah, I think, my opinion would be that we should raise it. We shouldn't need a request for it. But I don't think we need to have our own event or anything representing, Dufferin County is already doing a couple of those. So I think that's, as long as we are represented on those, I think that's enough.
Yeah. Does anyone know, is there a formal flag for Reconciliation Day as yet? Or is it, would it just be the I don't even know if there's an Indigenous flag. What I've seen generally is the Haudenosaunee flag, the purple flag. And I don't know if there's what's the better word, a joint Indigenous flag that they've developed yet, similar to Pride Day.
Just doing a quick Google on one of the federal sites. There is a survivor's flag that was first raised on Parliament Hill in 2021 to mark the inaugural National Day for Truth and Reconciliation. I'm just trying to see if I can find an image of it. See, Manitoba has unveiled the, yep, there, oh, that's a beautiful flag. Yeah, there's a new survivors flag. So it's been federally recognized, and it was developed through discussion and collaboration with several First Nations. So I think that might be a great flag to use rather than the Every Child Matters, as it's been federally recognized. I'm just seeing if I can share this link so that you can also see the image. Is there a chat function in
Top right.
top right? Oh, there it is. If you want to just check out that link from the University of Manitoba.
Wow.
Yeah, this is beautiful.
Yes.
I'm waiting on my internet.
Do you want me to do?
That's gorgeous.
Yes. It's
No,
very
that's
nice.
great.
Okay.
That's great. Sorry.
I will see if we can obtain one and get one up on the 30th.
Great.
That would be great. I'm just curious as well, on one of the social media sites I follow, there was a Happy Diwali Festival of Lights invitation at the Alliston Memorial Arena, but I thought it was under the town of Mono. That's not official, right? That's just someone that's organizing that?
Correct.
Christine, that may be the unofficial Mono Facebook page, which a lot of people page.
It's very interesting because I follow the official and I think I'm following unofficial. And so I keep getting confused as to which is which. So I was trying to sell some garlic and someone told me, do you belong to the town of Mono's real estate and something website, Facebook
Yeah, that's
page?
the unofficial one.
That's the unofficial.
That's the one to go on to sell garlic.
Okay. Yeah. And I actually joined it, and straight away there was a whole conversation about the town of Mono not recognizing equity, inclusion, and diversity. And so I just put a comment saying, actually, I don't think that's accurate. There is a committee, and why don't you join a meeting? And then it stopped. Someone replied to me.
You didn't say, and I'm the chair,
No, I never said that. I just said, why don't you come and join a committee meeting if you have concerns about the town of Mono or something like that? And then nobody replied.
That unofficial site hosts a number of hobby horses.
Mark, I think it was you that was going to see if we could sit in on some of the other committees within Dufferin County.
Yes, I was going to forward the regular meeting dates around to the committee, and I've been lax in doing that. I will do it first thing in the morning. So, all committee meetings are open, Christine. So, whether it's Orangeville or the county or Shelburne, they're all open. So I'll find the contact. Did you want to contact the chair? Because I could get the chair's contact, or do you want me just to contact the staff contact?
Well, I'm okay contacting the chairs because that one meeting I was on, they had an email chain going of all the chairs of all the committees. So I'm happy to just send out an email saying, we'd love to sit on some of your meetings. Are you okay with it?
And can we have the times, dates
please
and
have the
times?
time and the link how to join. You're okay if I'm doing that?
Yeah, as long as you've, I'll get the chair's email addresses for you.
That's okay. I think I have them all because I was on
You do?
that one
Okay.
meeting. So yeah, I think I
Because
have them.
that's probably the most efficient way to deal with it.
Yep, no problem. I'll do that.
Okay.
Uh, so review of the CCDI website content. So I'm sorry, Mark. I don't know. I literally tried 3 times before I emailed you, and then 2 more times after, and then it worked on the third. So I don't know. And then it turns out I've seen all this content before. But has anyone else had a chance to review it? Do we know? Does anyone use this content in the schools within the town of Mono, or
I don't know because that would be
so?
through the Board of Education. The county are partners. The county are partners with CCDI.
Okay.
The town of Shelburne are, and the town of Mono are. I don't know if any other municipalities have gone that far. So I utilize it to send out information to my staff, and CCDI are very good at sending their newsletters to us saying, you might want to be aware of this coming up, and right. So that's the way I've been using them. I also do quarterly meetings with a specific representative of CCDI as well.
Mm,
They're very good at kind of letting us know. So they're very honest. They basically said that they've had an onslaught of municipalities over the last 6 months to a year, and yet they really didn't have much information on their website that was truly applicable to municipalities and public focused DEI committees. It's usually been more corporate internal DEI committees. So um, I was going to be talking with my contact. It was supposed to be next Wednesday. It's had to been bumped a month over as to how they're going to roll out all of the municipal committee work that they're going to put up on their website. So I think you're going to see a big shift in what they're putting up there. But I'll have more information on that next
mm.
month.
It's got a ton of really valuable resources for sure.
Yeah, there's a lot of webinars, a lot of just reading materials, and they do monthly, because we're all members. They do monthly seminars before they post them. So they'll be topical. I think there's going to be 4 or 5 webinars being offered. The 29th, the 30th, and October 1st around the reconciliation as well.
So sorry, Mark. Do we receive those invitations or emails to? I don't
Um,
get that content.
yeah, no, I get them. I should probably be forwarding them on to you and then and the committee as I get them as well.
If you
So
can. I
I,
mean, I'm
I,
sure
I
you're.
haven't been doing that. I've been forwarding it out to staff because it's kind of a lot of it's irrelevant. Some of it's irrelevant. Some of it's pertinent. So I kind of cut out the pertinent stuff and send it around. But I'll make a note to send all those around. I'll send you this month's at the end of the meeting for sure.
I think that'd be great. I mean, I don't know about everybody else. I have access to a lot of this through the college. So we do a lot of, there'll be a lot of seminars coming up in the month of September around Indigenous uh, Orange Shirt Day. But I'm not sure that everybody has that type of access. So it'd be great.
When is the next council meeting?
2 weeks last night. I just don't know the date.
So the
September
27th?
27th. Yeah.
And is it during the day or in the evening?
It is a day meeting, next meeting.
Wondering if it would be possible to have maybe a guest opening up the council meeting to recognize September 30th, to recognize the day, the upcoming day. Maybe it's a residential school survivor or someone. Maybe it's this because one of the council meetings in the summer there was a guest speaker that was really engaging and really wonderful, and it was very well attended. To have something like that again, or even just like a performer or like a storyteller, just to kind of prequel the upcoming National Day, and to yeah, just to provide a little bit more what's the word I'm looking for? Just to recognize the day, I guess.
I like the idea. We can reach out and see whether somebody's prepared to do that, as well as deliver the land acknowledgement as well, and maybe
Mm-hmm.
expand upon the land acknowledgement.
Yeah, I think that would be appropriate, and something that just shows that our town commemorates the day.
I think my only concern with that is, this is only from experience, with Black History Month, we used to invite speakers through the month of the Black History Month and ask them to do events, and it became rightfully so quite bitter that they're only acknowledged at one specific period and then forgotten for the next 11 months. And it got quite contentious, especially at the college for sure. And I've seen a lot on social media as well about only recognizing them for 1 month and then not recognizing them again. So I would think Indigenous people may end up feeling the same way if they're only approached one time a year to do stuff like that. Not sure if I'm saying that well enough, but I'm sure you
No, I
understand.
totally get where you're coming from, and I completely agree with you how it can be just checking off a box, right?
Right.
However, if we continue to do so in a more regular fashion, then and we disclose that as well, then it kind of puts us out of that category, or it,
Right.
yeah, can preclude that.
It's more authentic.
Yeah, it's definitely more effective. And we have had, our council has had an Indigenous speaker
Yeah.
fairly recently. So maybe it's something that we can do some kind of a rotational speaker from different cultures on a more regular basis.
Question, do you have a problem with somebody from out of community doing this? Because I know a few prominent Indigenous personalities who I think would do a really, really good job, but they're not from Mono. They're not from Dufferin County. But they would speak to the issues really, really brilliantly, frankly.
I personally would not have an issue with that.
Okay.
No, neither do I. For sure.
Yeah, they're former colleagues of mine, and I think our default position is we try and find somebody locally, but in the absence of that, if we have to go further afield, we do.
If there are local people that you know, John, it would be good to have representation on this committee, Indigenous representation.
Well, we've been challenged on that. We've had difficulty recruiting, but I think this is a good idea, and I think we should pursue it. And obviously, we pursue the notion of expanding the membership of the committee as well.
Right. And then the last item we had on our unfinished business was the short and long-term objectives and plans. We haven't really dug into that. And I'm not sure actually how the committee feels we should approach our long and short-term objectives and plans. And we have several short-term already underway. But what about long-term? Does anybody have any thoughts on how we can start to develop our long-term plans for this committee?
What's the term you used, John? Crickets.
No, it's not so much crickets. It's more sort of how do we get our head around
Yeah.
the mandate. And I think, speaking personally, we're making good progress on the long term or on the short term challenges, and they ultimately become part of the long term as well, because anything that we do in the short term has the potential of becoming a long-term commitment. And, like flag raising as an example, like the acknowledgements of various things, if we build that into our DNA, then it becomes long-term. I know I'm sounding trite here, but I think we're on the right track, and the low-hanging fruit is always the easiest thing to do, but it's often sometimes the thing that pays off in the long run as well. And I know that's very trite. Crickets.
And I was going to say it's also a start to raising community awareness, right? I think as Christine said that there's a sentiment out there that we're not doing anything, and I think if people start, even the flag raisings, driving by and seeing the various flags, they're going to stop and think and say, oh, what flag is that flying? They may have never seen it before. I've never seen the survivors flag before, and quite frankly, I'd never seen the new pride flag before with the V notch in it. So, just even visually seeing them, you are raising awareness within the community.
And Madam Chair,
sorry. Oh, I was just going to say in regards to the survivor flag, perhaps that could be scheduled for September 27th, and whoever may be speaking at the council meeting could talk about the survivor flag and the significance and how it was created, if they're aware and if they're open to doing that. We should definitely have something on our town website just to describe it, because there does seem to be a very thoughtful process in the design of it. So I think that should be explained and described on the website.
Yeah, I think those are fantastic suggestions.
I was going to say that I have detected something fairly alarming in language, and not in the town of Molo necessarily, but broader speaking, where so-called interest groups are getting their way or being pandered to. And I do not know whether that is code for recognition of what we're trying to recognize, but it is troubling to me. And I don't know that the term, the gentle term is interest groups. I hope that is not code for what our committee and what others are trying to do, but I just raise it as something that we have to be mindful of, not that we have to agree with it. In fact, I, disagree strongly with those who would argue with what we're attempting to do here, but it's an interesting phenomenon. That's all I have to say about it. Because I think we need to argue very strongly that what we're doing is right, and it's progress, and it's not going to stop.
Sorry, John, I'm not clear. So there are people out there that are deliberately raising concerns with groups like ours who are trying to put EDI more of a focus in the community?
I'm not saying it explicitly because they aren't saying it
I
explicitly,
see. Okay, right.
but they use the code language of, quote, interest groups.
I'll have to do a bit of
And
research.
interest groups are getting their way and we aren't. And when you sort of think about that, it's a very troubling language. And, I have not heard anyone disagree with any of our flag raisings, for example, but I think there is, in this sort of Trumpian world, and I hate to use that expression, there are grumblers and people who are not happy. And I think we have to be mindful of it and, quite frankly, push back.
We have, John, at a staff level, been taken to task on some of the flag raisings. And it's unfortunate. And they're people that you and I would know in the community. I know that Matt Noble was verbally abused one night over at the works yard over the I believe it was when the Sikh flag was flying, but it may have been the pride flag as well, where the person stopped by and was like banging on the door saying, "Why are you flying that flag? And this is Canada." And right, it was one of those unfortunate events. So, but yeah, we have seen it at a staff level. And Matt basically told him to pound sand and see you later.
Did he point out the salt dome where they could find the sand and the salt to pan?
No. I don't think he went that far. I think he was just happy to see the fellow depart.
So, I'm sorry to have pulled the bandage off the wound here, but I just raise that as something we should be mindful of, and it should not moderate anything we are doing. It shouldn't stop anything that we want to do. But I just find it really, really interesting and at times depressing, but yet it is a challenge to us to explain what we're doing in a way which people understand. And the idea of having somebody attend council and put the Indigenous issues into context, I think is a wonderful thing. And not to go on terribly long, but I saw something fascinating in the coverage of the the death of Queen Elizabeth II, where the whole issue of slavery was put into a context that I never heard before. And I reassessed my views on the issue based on what was described by this gentleman from Jamaica. And it was quite an eye-opener.
I think that the challenge is people have to want to be educated. And those who don't want to be educated and don't want to learn, it really doesn't matter what you say, it's not going to change their mind. But I think that gentle persuasion and gentle reinforcement, and even it would be good if we as a committee had a narrative that we could speak from. So if someone approaches us to ask why we're doing this unnecessary work for the town, we have something that we have all common ground that we speak to. That would be something maybe we should consider summarizing at some point in the future. Not that anyone ever approaches me anywhere, because nobody knows who I am, but still, if they did, it would be good if I had a statement.
Well, I'm prepared to engage in the debate, and quite frankly, the demographics in the town of Mono has changed dramatically in the last 20 years.
And those we'll be able to see those changes in October, if I read correctly, right? The new census, we'll be able to see. That's already old, dated information that we're going to get, but I think that will give us a bit of an update as to how the demographics have changed in Mono.
Mark, are those numbers not out already?
I think they release them gradually.
Yeah,
John.
I think I looked on the website, Mark, and it's not till
Usually-
October.
Yeah, it's usually population first and then demographics follow shortly.
I'm pretty sure demographics were October this year,
Yeah.
so it's not out yet for sure.
I've only seen.
But that'll be interesting to see, because that would be something worthy of putting on the website underneath the EDI committee to help people to understand why this work is important, and how the demographics for this area have changed so dramatically.
Yeah.
And will continue to do so. Yep. Okay, so if I understand, we're going to leave long-term plans aside for the moment, continue to work on these short-term, which I think will end up driving some of our long-term plans as we move forward. Yeah, agree? Everybody agrees with that?
Yeah, sounds good to me.
Yes, me too.
And then just on the new business, we had setting up a schedule to ensure all relevant events are highlighted on social media. Was that assigned to anybody, or was that just something we were going to discuss this week?
I think it's something I think it's, I see it as two different things, Christine. I think there's the, what do we want to have up there? Do we want to have a list of, this is everything, diverse and inclusive that's happening in the month of August. I mean, it could be, or September or October, whatever it is. That can get quite exhaustive and may not be relevant to most people. I think from our perspective on social media, anytime we've got a flag raising or an opportunity, like whether it's a flag raising, whether it's councils there or not, even lowering the flags and things like that, we're pretty good at getting that out on social media to let people know. Even the Queen's passing, for instance. I mean, we were on top of that one pretty quick and had it out on social media with pictures of our flags lowered, probably within 15, 30 minutes of the announcement. So Andrew's pretty good at picking our stuff up and sending pictures out on social media of flag raisings we've done and getting notices out when they're occurring at the office. So I guess it depends what you're looking for. If you're looking for the social media side, I think we're pretty good at it. If you're looking for us to post, just trying to think of an example of what it could be, festival of lights, that sort of thing, and to flag all that. That's something we're not necessarily doing for all organizations, if you will. I hope that made sense.
For sure. I guess for me, I was just trying to think of a way that we can put constant attention, just gentle, constant attention on EDI and how it relates to Mono. Nothing that's, necessarily strong and in your face, but, like when the Diwali festival comes up, recognizing it's a big celebration and it probably does include some of our residents. And not, just celebrating. Maybe putting a picture of someone's house up that does put the lights outside for their festival. I don't know. I just think that just constant letting people know that the cultures in this town are different and they are celebrated in different ways. And that's all. I'd like us to be able to, once a week, open up our social medias and see, oh, wow, this is going on for this culture this month. That's great. I am going to actually go to that Diwali Festival of Lights thing that I saw on Facebook, just because I would like the food. Yes, the food for Diwali, it just everything is delicious. So I would like to go and celebrate that with that culture for sure. Anybody else have any thoughts? We're not too concerned with it right now.
Christina, I think you're right. I think we have to be mindful of those things and have a calendar, as it were, so that we aren't caught unawares and trying to catch up after the fact.
Well, maybe that's just something to wait until the demographics are published, and then we could select what we want to highlight on social media based on what the data says our community is most represented by, the different cultures.
Agreed.
Especially if we publish something that says, hey, look how much it's changed, the data, how much the representation has changed in this town. Now we have, I don't know how much it's going to change. If it was 0 before, maybe we now have 5% from this culture. And that may not seem like a lot, but it is a representation of the town that you live in now. And so let's highlight some of their special events. Let's add that to the next agenda, which will be October. It may be public by then. We can maybe discuss that a bit further. And then the last thing I see is the date of the next meeting. Are we continuing the second Wednesday of the month?
Correct.
Sounds good to me.
I'm good.
So maybe when you send the minutes out, we could actually put the rest of this year's meetings in. For some reason, I didn't even have this meeting in my own calendar, which was terrible until the agenda went out. So maybe if we just get the rest of the year. So that would be October 12th, November 9th.
Okay.
And then I guess December 14th.
Yep, I can note those in the minutes. There's no problem.
Perfect. Thank you, Michelle.
You're welcome.
And
Just
I
so,
don't know, sorry, Mark, what was that?
sorry, Christine, just so you're aware, I'm away both the October 12th and November 9th. But I'll make sure Fred's here from a staff perspective. Fred or Mike.
It's not an exciting vacation like Ralph's was, is it? The canoeing and the Yukon?
First one, I'm at a workshop. And the second one is, right now, at least it is a transatlantic cruise. So yes.
Oh, nice. Nice. I was talking to Ralph about his trip to the Yukon. That just sounded unbelievable, the canoe trip. This sounds like a dream come true, especially if you're paddling down current all the time. I wonder what the committee feels about making the December 4th one an in-person meeting to celebrate the end of year.
December 14, you mean, right?
I support it because council's not meeting in person.
Yeah, December 14th. Sorry, Mark, go ahead.
I'm just going to say, just so the committee's aware and the mayor's aware, if we are meeting in person, they will not be recorded. So if you're not there, you're not going to know what's happened other than the minutes.
Which I think, anyway, let me just add that. Michelle will add that to the next agenda as well, and we can just discuss that. I just think it would be nice to see everybody in person one time before we break for the holiday. You agree?
Yes.
Yeah.
I agree.
I'm happy to host it at my house if you don't mind two very big dogs. I'm happy to host it here. That's fine.
That's fine.
Let's just hope they got COVID under control.
True.
Right.
We could always do the quick test before we all show up. I'm getting quite used to doing that before I go to in-person meetings at the college. Is there anything else we'd like to add to tonight's meeting?
I don't have any.
Okay, so what's the official language? I'm writing the language down, Mark, so I don't have to ask you again.
Oh, I would just call for a motion to adjourn then.
Call for a motion to adjourn this meeting. John?
Seconder.
Agree, right?
John.
John, great.
Yep. All in
All
favor?
in favor? Aha, I got it.
Got it.
I promise next time I have all the language down. I won't screw it up again. Okay, well, it was great seeing everyone. This is a quick meeting. Enjoy the rest of your evening, and we'll see you next month.
Right.
Thank
Thanks,
you.
Christine.
Thank you so
Good
much.
night, everyone. Thanks.
Bye.
Bye.